Thanks, PM. So obviously this is an economic strategy to 2040, but how much of this is also about regional security and offering trade and investment opportunities to countries in this region at the same time as China is stepping up what it offers?
There's a complete link between the economy and economic relations and national security. And that's why this report's been considered not just by the Cabinet but also by the National Security Committee of Cabinet. So our engagement is important, and we do think there's an obvious link between the two issues and the context in which this report is being handed down and considered by the government.
Do you have any kind of rough timeline or deadline to consider all 75 recommendations? You touched on it before, but is this kind of months or years to consider some of all of them? And as you've already kind of looked at the report, you mentioned the NSC's already considered it. Are there any recommendations that have been ruled out?
We'll give proper consideration to it. We received a briefing from Mr Moore. I invited Mr Moore to come along to brief the NSC. I thought that was appropriate that occur. We don't have many guest speakers, I've got to say, at the NSC. I think it's fair to say I can't think of another one who wasn't a member or one of the agencies, but we thought that was important going forward. Look, we have responded, I think, pretty quickly to the report with 3 recommendations. It's there for consideration, and what will occur, why we've set up a structure of the Treasury and Foreign Affairs and Trade examining and having annual reports on the status of the recommendations, the consideration, is so that we can have a considered, orderly way of dealing with what's in here. There's a lot here, and this could, will no doubt continue to shape the way that the government responds to the whole range of issues in the region. And that's why I'm completely rapt, to be frank, by when I received a draft of the report, which wasn't that long ago. The fact that such a substantive report is handed down, even the way the format when you get to see it, of a couple of pages identifying the issues with each country in the ASEAN region, it's readable, it's digestible, and that's why I think Nick was a pretty good appointment, because he's someone who knows business. He's someone who knows the region. He's someone who the region's businesses know him, and Australian businesses know him as well. And I really thank, and I'll conclude here, I really thank Nick for being someone, a leader of the business community who has done this out of his commitment to the national interest. That's his contribution. And it's fantastic that someone who has been very successful in the private sector wants to put something back to the public of Australia, and that's what this report does. Thanks very much.